Hello, I'm Rob Murphy and welcome to another edition of Quick Rant. This time talking about massage. It might interest you to know that not all massages are the same. So, speaking as a qualified therapist and with other qualified therapists in mind, we'd like to allow you to know that what we do is vastly different from, if you've never had a massage before in your life, or if you've only had one from, your shopping mall sort of acupuncture sort of specialist where they don't quite speak the same language as you and I would if you're listening to this. It varies quite differently, and one of the main points I want to make here is around about how, especially in Australia, the industry is so under-regulated that it's not even funny. Now, I know a lot of people would say, oh well, that's okay, I'm willing to do that. But, especially if you have an injury or something like that, you shouldn't. Now, why is that, you may ask? That is because you're putting your injury into the hands of someone who doesn't take a case history, most of the time, doesn't even ask any questions before you're on the table, before they're hands-on. Now, that is okay if it is just a little niggle in the shoulders or something in the back that's just giving you a little bit of a twinge. But if it's a chronic issue, if you have a pre-existing issue, you're really playing with fire by going to one of these people, as opposed to a qualified therapist who can understand you, who will take a case history, who will see what is happening with your body right then and there at that moment in time. So, there's one bit that I want to talk about massage. Another bit too is that people seem to pay off massage as just a relaxational therapy. And it's so much more than that. And you're a therapist, so being a qualified therapist who can give a rebate, another thing I'll talk about a bit as well, is you have to go through and do more education each and every year. You need so many points, as our association calls it. To do that, you need to go and continue learning, do these courses, upskill. So, as a massage therapist, and it costs you, it could cost you thousands of dollars each and every year to keep upskilling as a therapist. But what that allows us to do is to give you more value on the table. So recently I've done a course a weekend course mind you, but in plantar fasciitis, treating that, and cupping as well, which I'll get into as well in another video. But for that, it was so informative, so well done. I feel I can properly help someone who's suffering with plantar fasciitis in more ways than I could before. I've got a better understanding of it, better understanding of what's involved, the muscles involved, the mechanics of it, what tests to perform, and it works as a refresh and adds new skills. So don't pay off your massage as just a massage. And another thing on that too, your therapist probably has more than just their diploma behind them. So I myself am trained in emotional sort of release techniques using trigger points, as well as Emmett technique, which is a bit like Bowen, and I've had fantastic success with that technique, not just on one person, but so many over the years that I've been currently doing it. And, I'm not even through all the way with that, so there's so much more value to add to my practice, to my clinic, if I continue with that. So never pay it off as just a massage and just some fairy technique or whatever that they've also learned. And one for those people who have had a massage and found it hasn't done anything, maybe you're not with the right practitioner. Now, if I personally can't help someone, I'll refer them on to someone else who I think might help them, whether it be a chiropractor or another massage therapist. Because maybe I'm not right practitioner for them. Maybe we're not on the same level. Maybe I don't have that particular skill set that they need to be able to release them from whatever's ailing them. So don't just have one and be done, especially if it's one of those shopping centre massage therapist sort of things. Because, oh boy, have I seen some things. Now, I mean, I'm guilty of going to those shopping centre ones as well, to come back to it. And I've been there where they're just yanking my arm for whatever reason. Now, if I had a pre-existing shoulder injury, bam, aggravated or done some more damage to. Where if you talk to me and said to me, like, oh yeah, I've had this thing, I've got a torn muscle here or a bit of ligament damage or shoulder damage there, it's like, okay, I'm not going to go and aggravate that anymore. I will go try and loosen muscles or something depending on the issue and the situation to help relieve that. But yeah, yanking that, never a good sign. So that's going to wrap up most of what I'm talking about here. So do your research, go with someone who's qualified, go with someone who will take a case history of you, especially if you're after remedial stuff. If you want to be able to claim back as well, it has to be a remedial massage. And they should take a case history, see what your body's doing right then and there at that moment in time, with a bit of a postural assessment. They should ask you questions too. Ask you what you're doing. Like, are you sitting at a desk, hunched over? Are you driving? Is that why your shoulders are forward, tight? Whatever. Are you doing a whole lot of lifting? What exercises do you engage in? Stuff like that. And you should be able to find a therapist who can find and pinpoint the issue. I've heard so many times where people say to me, wow, you really know how to find the spots. And I think of it as a very good thing. It's a bit like the Princess and the Pea sort of situation where, sleeping through so many mattresses she can still feel the pain. Going over the muscles, your therapist should be able to find and pinpoint the exact point where that active trigger is, where that muscle's tight, where it needs a bit of manipulation to release it. And as well as that, don't pay it off. Like, I know massage is more or less one of those things that feels good. And yes, it should. It is touch, the power of touch. It helps deal with a lot of issues, but it's for a remedial benefit as well. So don't pay it off as just something that feels good. It is actually doing a good job. Like, I can't count how many clients I've had afterwards, like especially even if it's their first time coming in, and they've been to physios, chiros and whatever, and they've said to me, these are their words, not mine, I've been paying so much to go see old mate over here, and you've done a better job in an hour. So it definitely has its place. But also, in that too, a lot of people think that we are absolute miracle workers, that we can fix whatever issue you have in that 1 hour appointment. Now, think of how long it's taken you to build up those tight shoulders, that tense back, whatever's happening with the hips. Normally it's not just a spur of the moment day thing where it's like, oh, normally it's a build up of issues. So the hip might be coming from the knee, might be coming from the ankle, sort of thing. And I mean, that can take years to develop. And it's only when that squeaky wheel that you need the grease for that hip starts to act up that you go. And, if we can't fix it in an hour, massage is useless. That's not the case at all. And think of it this way. If you go to a doctor and the doctor prescribes you some pills, antibiotics, drugs or whatever it is, do you just take the one and expect that to fix whatever the issue is, whether it be years of depression with one pill, whether it be the flu, a cold with one antibiotic? No, it takes multiple bits to keep treating that issue. And with your body too, your muscles gain a memory, so that issue will come back. Roughly around 2 weeks is normally the time that I see. Anyway, so make it a regular thing. And the more regular it is, then the more you can space it out. So one and done, most cases, not the case. So that's going to wrap up this video. go with someone who's qualified, unless you're in a bit of a jam. Most of the time it's when it's like a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday or something, and I know no one in my local area is going to be open and able to accommodate me in such a short amount of time. So that's when I use the shopping mall ones. And when I know it's not a serious injury. 2, don't pay off massage. Remedial massage has been around since the dawn of time. People have been trying to self-soothe themselves and rub those muscles to get a bit of relief. Don't pay it off. It works. Now I know it's not a university degree or anything like that, so people pay it off that way, but we do so much training, and we do continual training as well, as the physios, as the chiros do as well, to keep our qualifications up, and we keep upskilling. So talking with your therapist, they should be able to explain to you why things are happening. And then another point that I've just remembered as well, don't pay off any advice they give you to follow up your treatment. Any stretches that they tell you to do, anything like that, because they have your best interest at heart. And they want to see you get better in between visits. So taking your own health into your own hands and own responsibility as well is another big point that I see a lot with massage. But anyway guys, this was meant to be just a quick rant. Might have turned into something a little bit longer. But I'm Rob Murphy, and I will see you in the next video.